afternoon, and welcome to today's edition of The Candidate. Now, today I'm joined by a very special and exciting guest. She goes by the name of Honorable Elizabeth Phiri. We all know her as the former MP for Kanyama constituency before delimitation. Today we're going to talk about some key projects that she did in Kanyama. We're going to talk about the main things that she did for Kanyama. We're going to talk about her many achievements throughout the constituency and throughout her term. Join me as I welcome Madam Elizabeth Phiri. Madam, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I greet the viewers and makamaka Kanyama tukuti muli bwanji. Ine ndine mwana wa Matika, mwana wanu Mama Key. I'm Munizo to Mama Key. Many of you know me as Mama Key. Elizabeth Phiri, born and bred of Kanyama constituency. I know Kanyama from my palm. I know it better than any other person that will come today and introduce themselves as your child. I'm a child that you nurtured, and we know each other better.
Okay. Now, for some of you viewers that might not know Madam Elizabeth Phiri, would like you, Madam, to just quickly tell the viewers who you really are, how you joined politics, and what motivated you.
Actually, I didn't like politics. I took politics as a dirty game. But when Mr. Sata in 2001 followed me at my home, and this was after we had the bitter quarrel because I was running an NGO called Foundation for Justice and Human Rights, and this was the time that the government had demolished some houses around the industrial area where people had been plunged. Then I followed Mr. Sata at his office, and after that bitter quarrel, he decided that he should come back to me when he suggested that he come up with a political party. So I'm one of the founder members of Patriotic Front. Before then, I was running an NGO looking after orphans and vulnerable people. I used to help the vulnerable and fight for their rights, especially the widows and the children. I opened my own house for their education. And because of that, in 2006, Unilever crowned me as Mama Key. The Mama Key name is not a nickname. It was a name that came with a prize, and there was competition throughout the nation. They were promoting their keepers. And because of that, people wrote about me to Unilever. I was doing my charity works, not depending on donor funds. And when they looked at what I was doing, Unilever had a token of 25 million then, which is 25,000 of now, for a person that will win the competition. So I came first, and the other competitors, the second was a white lady of St. Francis, and the third was a woman who was looking after the child of a mad person in Livingston. So I started my charity works or good works in Kanyama constituency far before I became a politician. So to me, politics was to upgrade and render a service to the nation on a higher level. I didn't come into politics to make money. I came into politics to render a service. Hence, doing what I'm yet to tell you.
Amazing. So now, during your tenure, during your time in office, the constituency, the people of Kanyama, we witnessed groundbreaking, achievements, groundbreaking developments around the constituency. Some of the key projects that you undertook are well visible even up to today. Now, today we're going to discuss the main projects that you undertook. We're also going to highlight what projects you left, undone, and what you feel should be done to ensure these projects are complete. So we're talking about projects such as roads. Tell us about the roads that you built during your time in office.
Yeah, before I became an MP, I thought a third road cannot go in a community like Kanyama compound. I lobbied for the roads to come into Kanyama itself. The first road that I did was Chandakaso Road in John Lengi. As you are aware that my constituency, it was so vast. Now it has been cut into two, but it was so vast. But there is no ward that never received a road. In Linda compound, we can see littered third roads. In Maken Bonaventure, there are roads that came during my tenure. In Old Kanyama, in Kanyama ward itself, it received in Tangavantu Road.
Yes.
I was doing two roads that were disturbed because they came towards the election and people thought it was campaign period. I really feel sorry for Kanyama people because there was a political disturbances. People were, beating up the constructor because they thought it was just for campaign gimmick. This is the road that, joins Los Angeles to Kafua Road. And the road that joins Mungwa Road to Mungwi Road. These roads had started, but they were disturbed because people called it was a political, a gimmick that I should win an election. If they had left it, people would have benefited out of the same road. It's a pity they came towards the end. But those are not only roads. There's Road 55. That was, every time had a problem of floods. This time, the roads are passable because we did the Road 55, Road 70. There are quite a number of roads that were tarred. If they had given me another opportunity, by now I would have finished doing all the roads in Kanyama constituency.
Amazing. Don't forget to like our page, follow it on Facebook, and also share. Now, let's talk about the healthcare around the constituency during your time. We noticed, the people of Kanyama noticed the upgrading of, for example, the Kanyama clinic into a level 1 hospital. Could you tell us more about that?
Health is paramount. When you talk of health, you talk of life. They used to say Kanyama has no space to do a hospital. For a long time, Kanyama had a health post which was donated by the Kanjombi family. They kept on adding rooms to the old structure of which Kanjombi family had donated to Kanyama constituency. Now, when I came, as a mother, I knew we needed a hospital. They were saying there's no space to put up a hospital.
So what really drove you to say, I need to put up a hospital here for my people in the constituency? What drove you, knowing that for a long time there was only a clinic, a small facility that catered for a lot of people, even people that came from far places? But what gave you the drive to say,
it's because of the love of the people of Kanyama, Peter. Peter, I've already said health facilities is life-saving, and it is very important. When they told me I lobbied for a hospital from the government, and they used to say, we have no space. We had houses for the medical personnel, 2 houses within there. So I said, we are demolishing the 2 houses, which serves only 2 families, to put up a bigger hospital. And we had neighbors, the hospital had neighbors who were church, premises. So I went to the church premises to lobby for spaces. The 2 near churches, they gave us space to add on to put up a hospital. Today we have a big hospital, which is Kanyama level 1 hospital. I hear it's now a general hospital. People, they go there for their practicals because it's a big hospital. And during that time, we didn't have operation, we didn't have theater where to do operations. I want to thank the doctor we had then, and we discussed. He left the office to turn it into a theater for the operations. And I had to go out there to source the machinery for operations. I don't know how to call it, but when the doctor advised, we had to source for this. We didn't have children's ward. I had to transform, before we built the main hospital, we had to transform a labor ward into children's ward. And referrals to UTH minimized. We could handle, within Kanyama, doctors could handle, cases which were referred to UTH. We had to ask for an ambulance just for emergencies, but most cases were handled at Kanyama now. The people that were constructing Kanyama had constructed their office. So as we were waiting for that, we transformed their office into a labor ward and leaving the labor ward for children's ward. Amazing. So for me, because of the love of the people of Kanyama, I had to go outside my box to see. And I worked very well with the business community.
And during this period, were you also hands-on, active in these projects you're talking about?
Exactly. I was one of the initiators of these projects. So I was all over. I could be at the hospital, making sure that I know what is missing, I know what we need. And I was working very well with the civil servants within Kanyama constituency because I was involving the doctors. The doctors could tell me what they need and what we could do to improve the lives of the people of Kanyama. So when they tell me, I could, also share with the business community where they could come in, they came in. They came to rehabilitate our children's ward. They came to give us machinery and even donate some of the things. Not only that, Linda had no health facility. We made sure that we do a health post at Linda. In fact, without the knowledge of the health minister, I had to ask the doctor in charge of Kanyama Hospital to give us some health personnel to Linda Health Post.
Amazing.
When people were getting sick then, they used to go to Chilanga or come to Kanyama. But for Panadol and other simple illnesses, now they can facilitate their medical, issues, attentions just at Linda Health Post.
Amazing.
Not only that, I had to lobby from American Aid. They gave me health posts, which I took to Garden House. Now it is called Dumbo Clinic in the Garden House. Yes. So out of the little monies, I had to get part of the CDF to do water at Dumbo Clinic. But the health post was given by the USAID. And, one of the healthy posts went into BH market. There's a health post there in the market.
Within the market.
Within the market. When the marketeers feel bad, they access, healthcare within the market. So when I look at the health facilities that we have sourced, the Muslims were doing one health facility in John Lengi, which because of time was not opened during my time. But when they approached me for the healthy facility to be donated, we started burying the Chidamu, at John Lengi dam site. That's where we had started. And, we worked very well with the community and also the business community.
Amazing. We're still talking your achievements throughout your time, as MP for Kanyama. It brings you pride, I'm sure, for you to be able to talk about this at a time like this. Let's talk about education. The education sector. We've noticed an upstate school. It's now in Makeni constituency, but then in Kanyama, which is a Twashuka secondary school. Was this part of your project as well?
Yes, please. As I've already told you that I was good at lobbying, and I was also not just staying. I used to work very well with the civil servants. Because of the needy, the donors gave us 5 by 3 classroom blocks at the Twashuka school and an ablution block. That one was not government, but it was a donor given. But out of 1.6 million CDF, we are able to start. You know, me, I like uprising structures because they don't consume space. When I said we are starting we are putting up a classroom block, but it will go up. Many of the people said there is no space. I said out of this field, the football pitch, we are going to cut part of it and start construction. So we started. I left that almost at a roof level. You know, with 1.6 million, every time we get funds, it could progress. I am the architect of all the upstairs that you see within Kanyama, which is our community, projects.
How hard was it? Tell us, how hard was it for you to access CDF then? Was it an easy, channel for you to access these funds, or was it a tough time for you to access these funds?
Everywhere when we talk of CDF, it takes somebody who has a keen interest to get his share. Just like now, they are saying there's 40 million. So if the MP doesn't push for it to get their cut, they will not have it. But if they are pushing and they know where to go, which office gives what, me, I used to push for these things. Even in my committee, my CDF committee, then I could not sit in the committee. But my CDF committee knows how much I could push them. Even when they're in the meeting, I say, I want this done, I want this done. If the chairman, my previous chairman for CDF committee, can acknowledge this, he knows how much.
In simpler terms, you used to push for.
I used to push for my share.
Okay. Let's talk about security around Kanyama. You were talking your time. Let's talk about security.
Okay, on
Kanyama.
education, before we move out of education.
Yes.
Kanyama then didn't have high schools.
Yes.
Any child who qualifies for grade 8 then, now Form 1, had to leave Kanyama for another constituency, say Matero, Lusaka, or Munali constituency, or Kamala, wherever they could access higher education. But it was in my time that then our PS was Jobix Kalumba. Mr. Jobix Kalumba could remember me every time in his office to upgrade Kanyama. Without infrastructure, we upgraded Chivolia, we upgraded the Twashuka into full-fledged secondary schools.
From primary schools.
From basic schools, because then there were basic schools.
Did you also increase classroom allocation blocks at that time?
Before we increased the classroom blocks, they were, dividing timings. These grades will come from this time to this time, from this time to this time. The only school that classroom blocks increased was Twashuka first. Then also Mkolo School. Mkolo School, we upgraded it to a full-fledged, and there's Zox School, which was upgraded to full-fledged in Linda. I didn't just do the upgrading. At Mkolo School, I found a teacher, Peter, squatting in the toilet without a door. It was just a sack. The first thing was to do a modern ablution block with showers in for the girls to take care of themselves during their time. It is beautiful. And it wasn't CDF funded. It wasn't government funded. It was out of pure love that I could sacrifice at times my sitting allowance for community activities. I could go to business community to lobby. Me, I worked very well with the business community. It was like, now, let me work for the people of Kanyama. I was not resting. So what we did was to put, during the COVID time, we had to put even where they have to do their washing of their hands.
Yes.
There was no water at Mkolo School, we did a borehole. These borehole were just donated by well-wishers.
And you pledged for that, you pushed for that.
Yes, I could go to these donors and ask for their hand. When you look at the education system, it will change the face of Kanyama. Now children are not spending money. The people of Kanyama can attest to it that they are no longer giving their 5 quarters to transport their children into other constituencies for their education. Unless they just feel like doing so. Otherwise, we have Chinika Secondary School, we have New Kanyama, we have Kanyama Secondary School, we have Chiwodia Secondary School, we have Twashuka Secondary School, we have Mkolo Secondary School, we have Zok Secondary School. So when you look at all this, it was under my period of 5 years. It was under 5 years. Because the MPs don't stay the complete 5 years. Because the first 3 months they'll be campaigning before they know it, Parliament is dissolved. So all the projects that we mentioned, I didn't go for 2 terms. It was within a term.
1 term. Major projects actually with education. Let's talk about security. There's an upstairs police station within Kanyama constituency. Is this also part of your projects? Is this also part of your infrastructure development around Kanyama? What other police stations did you leave constructed or under construction within your time?
Actually, when you look at that elephant you see in Kanyama,
it's a mammoth.
It has nothing to do with the CDF. It has nothing to do with the government plans. When I became an MP, the first thing I constituted was the Kanyama Community Development Trust. This was a trust of nanny politicians. The people that would help me plan, the people that would help me, facilitate certain things. So the first thing we did was to come up with a fundraising venture. And we went to Sandy's Creation. Sandy's Creation accepted. He offered the place. Then we did our first fundraising. We just raised 150,000.
For the construction?
For the construction.
Now tell me, the construction of the police also came with the construction of a police housing unit just right behind the police station. Yes.
When you look at the houses, the government, when I said give me a police and these houses, the government said, Honorable, we can do the houses. It wasn't in the plan of government because nobody proposed that before you. So they did the housing units as government. Then I said I cannot let my police officers in that ramshackle. It was a unique vigilante structure where the unique vigilance would meet, and that's what has been Kanyama Police. In fact, I found Kanyama Police without a toilet. The first project that I did at Kanyama Police was to do flushable toilets for the female and the male before I did the major, police. So when I constructed that, I joined the waters. They were dignified because I found the pit latrine full to its capacity. They used to cross the road and help themselves in a nearby bar. So when we started digging the foundation, I went and showed the plan I wanted to do. Me, I was a diplomat. Before I became a member of parliament, I was a deputy high commissioner to Tanzania. So, Tanzanians, they don't build their properties on the ground because there are too many and they have to do their structures going up.
Yeah.
So I knew what I wanted. So when I showed the engineer in the government, because the one who was doing all the engineering work, he was a person from Ministry of Works and Supply, and he was an engineer from Ministry of Home Affairs. So this man says, no, at a community level you can do such a thing. I said, no, this is what I want. How much do you have? I said,
you have the minds to go down in architectural, lines and say, I want this to be done, and
yes,
it will be done.
Yes. Then he said, no, Honorable, don't be stubborn. At community level, you can't manage. So when I started doing the foundation, the 150 could hardly finish the foundation. What do? I got my own papers of my house, this house. I took it to the bank and borrowed the money. Security being this. I said, I'll push it to some level with this money. I have to pay. That money didn't take us anywhere. It finished. So the idea came in. I used to go in the business communities. I was not asking for cash. I was asking for material. Because material, I could be accountable. They would say, we gave you a block, where is it? So people started donating. I went around, the structure was done. The concrete is expensive. We had to go and ask. They had also to give us the concrete. Somebody, did the plumbing. All the plumbing materials were supplied, and the electrical part. And there's the people that did brought their own money to come and do the floor. It's it is terrazzo.
Terrazzo, yes.
So they did the terrazzo and they paid that man. I won the trust of the business community because they were seeing a massive thing developing. They saw what was happening, and these people said, somebody passed a comment saying, for the first time we have seen a politician coming to ask on behalf of the people, not for oneself. I said, I don't want your money. Then one of the business entities did us a second fundraising venture at Pamozi. We raised that and we continued with the works. Until then some business community member donated all the roofing sheets, and from the fundraise we did, we bought planks from Useko, and the carpenter was engaged, and we roofed. We did the ceiling, we did everything. It was beautiful. That police you see, it has cells for the juveniles, cells for the male old age, and cells for the juvenile ladies, cells for the old ladies. And inside there, we had put flashable toilets. The officer in charge office, it has got its own toilet. It's beautiful. It has a boardroom.
Amazing.
It is one of the best police stations so far.
Indeed, it's actually a modern police station.
It's a modern police. I'm proud. I go into Kanyama with my head high.
I'm sure when you pass through the police station and you look at it, it gives you immense pride.
I tell you, people said, name it after you, let it be Elizabeth Perry. What I said, no, I didn't do it for my name. I did it for Kanyama people. So it still remains Kanyama Police.
Okay. Let's look at.
But that's not the only. That's not the only police.
Okay.
In each and every ward, out of 1.6 million, each and every ward has a police post
that you managed.
That I managed to put out of 1.6 million. We have a police post in John Lengi. We have a police post in Linda. We have a police post in Garden House, because that is a CDF project. And the money was too little. But 1.6 million managed in my tenure to do, to cut a security in each and every ward. Not only that, I found a transmitter. As I said, I used to work with a community. We started, transforming it from a room. We started petitioning. We want to thank God. Somebody took over and completed on top. But ground, all the rooms on the ground, the cells were done by me and that community.
Amazing. Amazing.
That is, they call it what police? At transmitter, it's
Transmitter,
Campasa Police. Campasa Police was a transmitter building.
Oh, yes.
But I didn't even consult government. I started renovating it inside to turn it into a police post. And we thank God somebody took over and completed.
And it is providing security now.
It is providing security now.
Amazing.
So security, it's in each and every ward. We did. And on health post, I forgot the one that is around McKenny Villa. There is also a health post in McKenny Villa. We extended something at Banda Clinic. Then also at Kanyama West. The women used to come to Kanyama for their labor. There's this labor ward that was donated by some donor, and now they can give birth from Kanyama West.
Huge achievements when we look at your time. We've noticed that there's a civic center being almost commissioned, I think, within Kanyama constituency. Let's talk about that bringing of the civic center. Let's also talk about infrastructure such as sports activities. During your time, did you put up any recreation facilities such as football grounds or anything within your time to make sure that the youths were kept busy with activities in sports?
Yeah, I love the youths. But before I talk about sporting facilities, let me talk about the civic center. Kanyama is a gold mine. Kanyama, we needed a mini civic center. If it was my time, my vision was to end unemployment, to end cadreism. Because when revenues are being collected through that center, it will be Kanyama children that will be employed to collect. Now there is how do you call them? This remote payments. You call, through Airtel money is what people can go out there to collect revenues on behalf of the council, but payments can be done remotely. They can send through Airtel, MTN, the Zamtel, if these can be created. So I was ending, unemployment in Kanyama. Not only that, I was to keep Kanyama clean. Not only that, I was to see that, in Kanyama, we have organized infrastructure. When you talk about civic center, it falls under title deeds. It was my time that, Kanyama was a shanty. It had no title deeds, especially the old Kanyama. But during my time, with the minister then of lands, we came up with titling that land. So this time, Kanyama person can carry a title deed and borrow money from the bank because they have got title deeds.
All this happened during your time?
It was during my tenure. Civic center was, when you look at Soweto Market and you look at There was Simon Mwewalen. There was also, Kulima. Is it Kulima? No, Tower. Then there's Komesa, Lumumba. Those are gold mine. We needed a civic center. When I talked about a civic center in Parliament, then I was asking my minister, who happened to be Honorable Mwale. I just stood. I said, Honorable of local government, when are you giving me a civic center? Then everybody laughed. He said, Kanyama is not even a township. Why are you looking for a civic center? I had a vision to transform Kanyama because it was ending unemployment, it was bringing sanity, revenue collection, everything. I'm at pain to see that for the past 5 years down the line, the civic center that I left at 95% was not actualized. It was not commissioned. It is not in operation. So it's, because when somebody started, especially when you are not part of the vision, it's not easy for anybody to carry it on. But, if they had only actualized, the operations of the civic center, Lusaka Civic Center, Lusaka Council would have been the richest because of that mini civic center in Kanyama constituency. You have talked of sporting facilities.
Yes, and facilities.
When I saw that in Chiwolia, children love sports. One of the donors said, Honorable, we want to donate maybe toilets. And they had donated toilet at Chiwolia grounds. They had also donated the fencing of Chiwolia grounds. And I, as an MP, I used to sponsor some cups. The last one I did was a 50,000 worth of a cup, which I gave. And I used to keep the youths busy with the sporting activities. They used to compete for that cup, and I'm so close to the hearts of the youths of Kanyama because of the sporting activities. Not only Kanyama itself, but also in Linda. Out of 1.6 million, part of the money, we did a very nice stadium. A sporting. It's still standing up to now, beautiful. There's a stadium in Linda compound out of 1.6 million. When you look at the achievements, there are many to be mentioned. Maybe let me not preempt your questions.
Amazing. We're still talking to Honorable Elizabeth Phiri. She's been an MP from Kanyama constituency, and we're looking at her many achievements during her time. Okay, within a short period of time that I have now left on this program, I'd like to get a few questions, to just give you a few questions that you can just answer.
No, we haven't touched the market, because I was going.
Oh, yeah. We're still going to the markets. We're still going to the markets.
Okay.
Yes, but I just have a few questions that I need to ask you that we can answer, quickly, because I think we're running out of time with the program. Okay, so what projects did you do to help, what programs did you initiate to help the underprivileged in the society, such as, people living with disabilities? During your time?
These are the people that I loved most. They were my neighbors from my office. The first thing was to sponsor. There was a woman who had a passion. She was also disabled, but she used to run a school. Every time I could support them with their educational needs. They were my neighbors, and when they moved to another place, we assisted in a way how to take care of those children. The underprivileged, I could go out of my way to look for their blankets, to look for their food, and to support the others that could need wheelchairs. I was always on top of things to work with them. They were my best friends. Every celebration, I could go out there, source for the, food, meats, meal, cooking oil, whatever, beans and rice. I could give them and help them. And they are so dear. They were so dear. They were on my heart because these are the people that needed help.
The mothers, huh?
Yes.
Let's look at some of the things that you did for youths that were unemployed at that time. Some of the things that you did to help curb youth unemployment levels at that time.
The program that came was there was some internship. So those that had an opportunity, I took a lot of them for internship, and others they were even employed when they performed very well. Others I could go into industries and start asking if they can pick one or two youths from my community. A lot of Kanyama people got employed because I could approach the employers to pick from within as a corporate social responsibility. Not only that, the youths that were so intelligent, they wanted to go to university. Before this CDF came, I could go and identify a donor to take over some of the students and sponsor them to university. There are those that during my time, they were on a shorter period because it's 3-4 years. I personally could sacrifice to pay for them for their education.
Amazing.
But mostly, I took a number of them into higher schools, that is tertiary education, through the cooperation I had with the business community, and I introduced it as a corporate social responsibility to educate some of our youths. Amazing. And some of those youths, if they can hear me, they would attest to it that we did that, and others graduated. They are now graduates.
Amazing. Now, Honorable, we're trying to catch up with time here. I see my director is signaling me right now. With just CDF under 1.6 million at the time, how did you manage to bring to life all these achievements? How did you manage? Even right now, you're able to point out that what 1.6 million did, not one or two, but more than one or two. How did you manage with a small amount of CDF and with a huge constituency before the limitation?
Actually, CDF, we were targeting particular, needs for the community, but it's just being principled. And you know how to do it. Get the right people to do. Not overpricing, because there's a lot of cheating in with these contractors who come hoping to make money out of nothing. Us, we could look at the costs. The area that I could say, it's not CDF, but I had to go out there to source for roofing sheets and steel. Then we have BH Market now, concretized. I went to then the vice president to ask if we can be helped to construct. And now we have a beautiful, it was not easy to remove people. Before my time, people could go to BH Market in waters, filthy waters, to pick food. And there was cholera all the time because it was sewer water that they were picking food from.
So this is the time the market shelter came about now.
Yes. And there was a garbage which was left by UNIPI, MMD added, and you part of PF added. To tell you the truth, I removed that garbage, 25 years garbage. That was the first thing I did, to remove the garbage, and now we have a decent market.
Amazing. My
idea was to cross and, where they sell bees, carpenter, put modern and decent markets there and improve the city market, because I know where to touch. I know who to approach. Money is within Kanyama constituency, but people are afraid to approach the people that have got money.
Amazing. Now, Honorable, for the people of Kanyama, the people that are watching you now, the masses that are looking up to you, the masses that may have hopes in you, what do you say now that Parliament is, dissolved and the campaign period is almost, flagged? What do you say? What do you have to say for the people of Kanyama?
For the people of Kanyama, what I can tell you is that we are going into a serious business, which you have to decide who to vote for. And for sure, do not make mistakes. When you want to vote for somebody, you have to know whom you are voting for, and you have to see what they have done before, if they have been with you, and you have examined. I know there will be money flashing. Don't run for the money. Try to see who is contesting. Don't look at a party ticket. Because me, I took over from a fellow PF member who had 2 terms and left nothing. But me, under 5 years, I've left some of the projects under carpet because I can't explain everything on this short period of this, this interview. I caution you. Vantu vamakanyama pamene muvota, pamene musankha ovotera, mumudziwe bwinobwino. Akabweretsa ndalama dyani koma kavotereni wamene mudziwa, wamene adzachita vinthu. Chifukwa munanichotsa pa mpando ntachitako vinalo. Koma kuyesa lomba muleke. Chitani vochitika. Muchite vantu amene mudziwa bwino, amene amunaona pachitako vinthu, kapena amene munamvera mwamene akhalira kunyumba kwawo mnasungira mabanja yawo. Munthu amene abwera asabwere na mawu, koma abwere na ntchito zake, akulongozeni ntchito zamene anachitapo. Ine monga Elizabeth nachitapo zanga muzidziwa bwino. Koma tikuti nthawi penyani. A president Hakainde Hichilema anakupatsani 40 million yamene sinabweretse kalikonse. President Lungu anakupatsani 1.6 million yamene inachitako chinthu. May his soul rest in peace. Munaona vamene inachita 1.6 million. Iyi 40 million yamene mwaona, palibe chamene mwaona apa Kanyama. Msakale vitebulu podyera, kuti vantu akabwera udyera pa mutu pano. Imwe sinimwe vitebulu. Musavote muntu utapite ku parliamenti, kapena mumpereke ku council, akakhale iye na banja lake ali kudya bwino, imwe palibe chamene mnaonapo. Pano tikamba, muli nacho chipatala, muli nayo msika wa bwino, muli nayo masukulu, muli nayo polisi. Nchifukwa chakuti mtsogoleri anali na inu pa mtima. Sana alifuna kutsogolera. Ine nakakhala kuti president analipo nongora kuhongolera atikongola. After analipira nthawi yaitali president anakamba Eliza sachitateni. Nyumba inyavana. Asikalipireni afafanize nkongole. Sembe nakuza nyumba chifukwa cha chikondi chanu. Natenga loan. Chifukwa chakuti nayamba project amesina kufuna kutasekewe ya polisi. Lero polisi lutani zambiri. Lero ukawalala ujangi uruchepa kwa Makanyama chifukwa cha Kanyama polisi. Na manga cha chikulu chifukwa nazo kuti Kanyama yanga vana ngoti vuta vameti bala vandiye vana kuti ni majangi. Sono vantu Makanyama na bila mwendo sankhani vantu amene adza kutumikirani. Osa sankha chifukwa chakuti mwaponda chitso kapena chifukwa cha chipani. Chifukwa president aoloti vanena sindiwo amene afuniko bwera pansi. Asanga vantu amene afuniko kuti apereka mavuto yanu kumwamba kuja. So apa yoloti kamba kuti president palibe chamene achita koma mavuto ni aja mnasankha monga MP, monga makanselas ndi afuniko yankha mafunso kuti kodi zinali bwanji. Tukapa makhala World Development Fund amene funiko chitako kana kalikonse ndiponso kumakhala so constituency fund yamene funika iyo yakulira 40 million napapata tikupita mukachitaganizo kasankheni osati chifukwa chakuti ndine wachipani chakuti kasankheni chifukwa chakuti munthu yakatisenzera tikamusankha zikomo kwambiri.
Well, there you have it, the people of Kanyama and surrounding areas. Honorable, just one last question as we conclude our program. We've spoken about your achievements, we've spoken about the projects that you did for the constituency, we've spoken of how, a heart, of the mother you had, for the people around your constituency. Honorable, for the people that are watching us, someone out there would want to know what is happening. Is our Honorable going to come back? Are we going to see the Honorable on the ballot?
Inakutinka meuti mbwera osimbwera katu ni vantu ukamba timbere kuti vantu akuti bwanja makanyama chifukwa nanga nakale nomanga zinzipatikiza atifupa yopapatiza kwanya mpika monga mzwa kampeni nzambiri zimfunika simfuna kuti vana mama akakamboti tsembeta maphala koma chipata osamba kwanu anakukanani vantu akakanyama tsono ana akakanyama ndinulankula vantu vambiri valankula kuti bwerani koma tikapenda mavoti kuti bwerani mwina ni yang'ono nifuna kuti timbe kuti muti bwanji after mambera izi tikamvera mwati mkambire ise titi bweretse mu mtima kuti olo tilije ndalama tikozoka wina koma olo sindine olo ni wina maposankha khalani maso khalani chelo sangani vantu vamene azakutumikirani.
Amazing. Well, we've come to the end of our program. We've hosted Madam Elizabeth Phiri, Honorable Elizabeth Phiri, former MP for Kanyama constituency. We've spoken about the many achievements that she did for the constituency, and we've also highlighted key projects that she undertook during her time. We're left with a question. Kanyama people, is she coming back on the ballot? Your feedback matters. From me and my entire production team, see you next time. Thank you.